Hi, I'm Monique Rhodes. I want to read you the question that I got this week. Here it is. My brain won't stop showing me worst case scenarios. The car accident on the drive, the bad diagnosis, the conversation that ruins everything. I've tried replacing the thoughts with positive ones. It just makes them louder. Why does my brain do this, Monique? And how do I make it stop? Oh, yes. We know this one, okay? Your brain just showed you the version of your day where everything goes wrong. The car accident, the bad diagnosis, the conversation that ruins everything. Then it showed you another one and another. There's a word for what your brain's doing, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I want to tell you about something that happened to me a few years ago. I remember I was driving to the airport. It was a normal morning. I had my coffee in the cup holder. I had a song I loved on the radio, and somewhere between the second roundabout and the highway exit, my brain showed me a car accident. Not in a vague way, like specifically. Showed me the angle I'd be hit from, the other driver looking at their phone, the sound. It showed me my family getting the call. And then, because once that door opens, the brain doesn't stop, it showed me the next one. What if the flight goes down? What if I have a heart attack on the plane? What if? And by the time I got to the airport, I'd lived through about 6 versions of my own death and 3 of everybody else's grief. Nothing happened. The drive was completely fine. But I want to tell you what I want every person watching this to know, because this is not a small thing. There is a name for what my brain was doing, and there's a name for what your brain does to you, probably multiple times a day. The word is catastrophizing. So catastrophizing is when your mind, without being asked, runs the worst case scenario over and over in high definition, with sound, sometimes about something specific, a meeting, a diagnosis, a relationship, sometimes about nothing particular at all. The brain just opens the file marked everything that could go wrong, and it starts playing it. Okay? And here's what almost nobody tells you. Catastrophizing isn't a sign that there's something wrong with you. It's not a lack of faith. It's not a negative mindset that you need to think positive to get your way out of it. It is a protection script. So I want you to stay with me on this, because if you understand what I'm about to tell you, the way you relate to your own brain will change permanently. So somewhere in your life, and you mightn't even remember when it was, something happened you didn't see coming. Maybe one of your parents left without warning. Maybe a diagnosis arrived out of nowhere. Maybe a friend turned on you. Maybe you walked into a room and you got hit with a piece of news that broke you open. And in that moment, your brain, which is more than anything else a prediction machine, your brain made a decision. Your brain said, I will not be caught off guard again. From now on, I will rehearse every possible disaster, so when one happens, I will have seen it coming. That's the script. It runs underneath everything. And it's got nothing to do with predicting the future. It has everything to do with not being taken off guard, with not being shocked. And this is why the standard advice doesn't work, because that advice goes something like this. When you catch yourself catastrophizing, replace the negative thought with a positive one. Imagine the best case scenario instead. Try that. Tell me how it goes. What happens if you've ever actually tried it is your brain hears the positive thought and immediately runs a more vivid disaster. It's not a fair fight. The protection script has had years of practice. The positive thought has had about 4 seconds. And it's worse than that. Every time you try to argue with the catastrophizing thought, you are confirming to your brain that the thought is important. So you're treating it like data, like a problem to solve. And your brain, which loves problems to solve, solves it by generating more material. So you're feeding the thing that you're trying to starve. I taught a program at a college recently, one of the 70 plus where my work runs, and a student stayed behind afterwards. And he told me he'd been doing positive affirmations for 2 years. And he said that his catastrophizing had got worse, not better. And he told me he wasn't doing the affirmations with enough belief. He had been told that he wasn't visualizing hard enough. And I told him, just stop. None of that's going to work because none of that is the move. Here's the move. And it's so simple that no one can sell it to you because there's nothing to buy. When the catastrophic thought arrives, the car accident, the diagnosis, the worst case version of your meeting tomorrow, you don't argue with it. You don't replace it. You don't visualize the opposite. You notice that you are watching. So there's a part of you that's observing the thought, the part that's not the thought. The thought is something happening on the screen. You're not the screen and you're not the film. You're the person sitting in the cinema watching a film about a disaster that hasn't happened. So the moment you notice the watcher, something shifts. Not because you've defeated the thought, but because you've replaced it. Because for 1 second, the moment you notice the watcher, something shifts. Not because you've defeated the thought, not because you've replaced it, but because for 1 second, you've stopped being identified with it. And that second is everything. So I want to tell you something that took me a long time to understand. And I've never heard anybody else say it plainly or talk about it. The catastrophizing isn't the problem. The believing the catastrophizing is. So your brain is going to keep running disaster films. That's what brains do. There's no version of your life where you have a brain and you don't have catastrophic thoughts. Even the most realized people, right, still have catastrophic thoughts. The difference isn't that they don't have them. The difference is they've stopped treating them as instructions. A thought arrives, the car crash, the bad news, the thing that ruins everything. And instead of letting it in, leaning into it, instead of arguing, instead of solving, they just let that film play. They watch it, they don't believe it. And then very quietly it ends, because every film ends if you stop paying your attention to it. The reason you suffer isn't because you have a catastrophizing brain. You suffer because you believe what your catastrophizing brain is showing you. So you take the protection script literally. You treat the rehearsal as the reality. That's the engine of suffering. Not the thought, the belief in the thought. So here's what I want you to do. Not as a technique, not as a hack. I want you to do it as an experiment. The next time your brain runs the worst case scenario, and it will, probably within the next few hours, try this. Don't push it away. Don't argue. Don't say, stop catastrophizing. That's just more catastrophizing in a different costume. Instead, say to yourself very quietly, here's the film. There's the film again. Just that. Name it. Watch it. And you'll notice something strange. The film will keep playing for a bit, then it will get duller, then it will get boring, then it will fade. Because here's the secret about your brain nobody seems to tell you. Your brain is not actually trying to torture you. Your brain is trying to protect you. And the moment it sees that you've understood the protection, that you've noticed what it's doing, and you're no longer inside the screen, it relaxes. The protection script needs you to believe it in order to run. The moment you see it as a film, the projector starts losing its power. This is the work. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't affirmations. This isn't visualizing the opposite of what your brain's showing you. This is the much older, much quieter, much more powerful work of seeing what's being shown and not being taken in. I've been teaching this practice in colleges and universities, on retreats and coaching sessions for many years. The people who change, and I mean genuinely change, are not the ones who learn to argue better with their brains. They're the ones who learn to stop treating their brain as the boss. You're not the catastrophic thought. You're the one who notices it. That's the entire teaching. Everything else is decoration. If you want to know a little bit more about this, I've built this wonderful quiz. The link's in the description. It takes a couple of minutes. It gives you a personalized report about yourself. It's free. Let's see where your happiness is at. But please come back. I'm going to keep teaching about things like this. I look forward to seeing you. As always, be kind, take care, go gently in the world.